Hello, friends, and welcome to Season 3 of Hops and Hedges, the podcast where we talk about beer, landscaping, and everything in between. I'm your host, Heather Gerard from My Landscape Artist, and I am so glad you're here. Hops and Hedges is proudly sponsored by ext.tech, and you're going to want to stick around until the end of the show for an exclusive discount code to use for their powerful CRM software and mobile app. Now crack open a cold one, and let's dig in. There we go. With me today, all the way from Santa Fe, New Mexico, but today he's actually in Colombia, is David Deighton. Hello and welcome, David.
Hello, Heather. It's a pleasure to be here.
It's so fun that we're actually finally meeting. Like, you're in Colombia, I'm in Southwestern Ontario, and here we are just getting together for a talk about landscaping, beer, and art, and business, and life, and whatever else happens.
I love it. Let's do it.
So for those who are just tuning in and don't know you or aren't familiar with your art, can you let people know who are you, what do you do, and why are you so amazing?
Now, let me go ask David what he thinks about it.
Okay. I'll wait.
Yeah. Oh, here he comes. So David's an artist, and he does he used to have an art gallery, but then he's like, nah, let's not do that anymore. Kind of burnout. People are super interested in it, but you can't really do anything that you want, like total freedom to, you got to produce stuff that sells. I'll still do that sort of on the side. But what I'm doing now is, for the last 6 years, I've been going to talk to Americans in the US about politics. I talk politics with strangers in public spaces.
Wow.
And, yeah. And see how that goes.
Yeah.
And it's actually been going pretty good. I go into national parks and I set up art installations to invite people to talk about this taboo subject of politics and find ways to communicate non-confrontationally with respect for the other, regardless of where they are in the political spectrum, right? That's what I'm aiming for. That's not what I say.
Gotcha.
I just ask them political questions.
Yeah.
Always the same 3. And then they answer the questions and I record their voices or I do funny things with it.
Oh my gosh, that's so cool.
I set up it is cool. At the beginning, I thought, oh.
We just lost David for a second. Let's see if he comes back. Darn that internet connection in Colombia. Standing by. Please keep your hands and feet inside the vehicle at all times. There you are. So sorry, but we lost you there for a second.
Dang, I hope I have a stable connection.
So we just had a really great conversation.
Yeah.
But that's
fine. About being in Colombia. No, it's fantastic. And that's what David had to say. Now the other David's back.
Yeah.
He's going to talk about what the other David does.
Perfect.
So David is here.
Welcome, David.
Yes, it's a pleasure. So the other David was saying that he goes to natural parks in order to talk to strangers about politics, because things are so divided in the U.S. right now.
Yep.
So he's been exploring for ways to how to talk about politics non-confrontationally with your political opponent. Like, how is that done? So I practice it all the time by talking to all these random people and asking them 3 non-confrontational political questions. Actually, the other David. Anyway, me.
Yep.
Says that. And I'll bring art installations and my questions. And I also, there's lots of different things. I don't even know where to start. But the thing is that I haven't had an argument with anyone yet.
That is
what
so
blows me away.
Refreshing to hear. See, that's good news. If we can start spreading some more news, and this is something that's come up with me and in my life as well, is that why can't, as human beings, we have our own beliefs, our own opinions, and be able to have a conversation, an open dialogue with a friend or an acquaintance and discuss these things without getting our backs up? Like, we're so quick to become defensive, right? And it's like we have to explain ourselves and explain why we believe what we believe, but we're all humans, like, on the same planet. Can't we just, have a conversation?
That is so much my goal, where I want to go to, but I have to bring it down so many notches because you can't have such like an open dialogue, right? It starts with me just asking a question and just purely listening to what the answer may be,
Yeah.
and using all my senses as well to be present for that person, to listen in, and try not to get triggered because you hear a
Mm.
lot of shit. You hear a lot of
Oh,
stuff
I
that you're
bet.
like, "Oh, I bet I don't agree with that." But after, with practice, I find that, I'm not triggered by it anymore.
Right.
Um, and not that that I agree with them. On the
Mhm.
contrary, but now I'm looking for one thing I have in common. I'm like bridging, trying to find, there's a thing called the
Yeah.
bridging movement actually out there, and it's about you're a bridger in a sense because you're reaching out to different groups and you have a podcast and all this stuff,
Right.
and you have the intent for people to be able to communicate in open dialogue, and that's where I want to go too. So, but I can't for the time being without get because I have these. I'm waiting for for non-confrontational moments. So I have these questions I ask, I listen in, and rather than a fact or opinion that would trigger me, I'm
Right.
looking now for an emotion. Something like
Wow.
they're angry about the state of affairs. You know what? They said angry. You know what? I'm angry too. And I'm gonna at the end of this, at the end of my questions, I'm gonna let them know that I think uh, that I disagree with everything they say. Basically, I think you're full of shit. But I'm not gonna say it that way.
Right.
But there is this one thing you said. You said that I do agree with, that you're angry with the state of the political system in the United States or something. Guess what? Me too, right? Maybe for different reasons, but I will let them know, if they talked about libtards or lefties or whatever, I'll say, hey, you know what? Guess what? I'm not libtard, and
Yep.
show them that there's humanity in me. And that's what happens like hundreds of times over and over. But they're random. So,
Mhm.
half the time or more, there are people that I agree with.
Right.
So not for everything, but I'm not triggered uh, blown into space with something with some
Right.
of the things that people say. Yeah,
It's
yeah.
so funny how funny isn't the right word, but it's so fascinating to me, and I find it really interesting that you're going into
Mm,
these public spaces and putting
mm,
yourself in an uncomfortable position in order to benefit and make an impact on others. You're also making an impact on change for yourself, right? The more you're exposed to certain things, the less you get triggered, which you mentioned. And we are all responsible for our own triggers, right? We can't control
mhm,
other
mhm,
people and how they
mm.
come at us, but we can control how we react to them. And so, kind of exposing yourself repeatedly to certain things kind of teaches you a thing or two about yourself, right? Even though you're
Exactly.
trying to teach at the same time. So, I love that teach, learn, balance thing that you have going on. And personally, I am a huge fan of installation art, public art, and interactive spaces. So, with me coming from a landscape background, I aspire to one day, be contracted to design something that will be in a public square that people can see and feel and touch and take selfies with, and create
So
memories at a spot,
take out the contracted and do
right?
it right now.
And just do it. You know what?
Yes.
I love
Uh,
that. Why
yeah,
am I
yeah, yeah,
limiting
yeah.
myself? You're right. I could just do it.
Mm.
Just make sure it's
Yes,
legal-ish
yes.
or that I don't get caught.
Well, I don't know how it is where you are, but we here the First Amendment protects Americans. Well, not I'm not. I'm talking about being in the U.S.
Hmm.
Um, and protects art is protected by the First Amendment. It's the freedom of speech. So you can exercise it pretty much anywhere. The problem is where are those places? Where's the public
Right.
area? I live in the western U.S. from the Rockies going west. There's a lot of big, not a lot of big. There are not a lot of cities to start with, but when there is one, everything's by car. So uh,
Right.
the the public areas are malls, which are commercial, right? The public parks are often abandoned
Hmm.
in the sense that people don't go there because they're all on their digital devices and there's not the activities that would be like in a European country around a park. So then you got public spaces and where people congregate in these public spaces. And therefore, for me, it's national parks. National parks, near the visitor center or something like that. And people are in a good mental frame.
Hmm.
It's 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 by experiment that I found that the national parks have worked for me. busy street corners in New York City don't, but the public park does. But you got to
Right.
go to parks with other people in order to talk to strangers, right?
Hmm.
And you could try talking politics at the grocery line, but it's often not
Right.
long enough.
Yeah.
Only 2.5 minutes usually. That's the average of each conversation is 2.5 minutes long.
Huh.
So, of course, some are shorter, some are longer, but it ends up at 2 minutes and 37 seconds. And so, where do these things take place? So that's been the experimenting. So I've experimented with like art installations and also just going with a mic and asking people questions.
That is
Oh, got a
so
dog here in
cool.
Colombia. That's a Colombian dog
Colombian
barking.
dog. So not your dog. It's
Yeah,
just kind of comes and
Co-
goes, does its own
Colombian
thing.
dog. It's doing its thing. It's looking to see if anybody's coming over to the hostel where I'm at.
Oh, okay. Very
Yes.
cool. We were talking before we
Mm.
started recording that I had been to Colombia as well
Yes.
and to San
San
Andreas
Andres.
years ago, and I still miss the coffee. So, are you a coffee
Oh,
guy? Tea guy?
right here.
Right there. Oh, see, you've got your Colombian coffee.
Oh, oh, oh,
Uh,
oh, oh, oh,
oh,
it's
it's and
empty. It's empty, but it shouldn't be.
you are
But
a
that's,
terrible actor.
yeah, I'm
That
terrible
was a
actor.
test and you failed. I am not drinking
I
coffee.
got another cup here. I have another cup here.
Mm. Oh, that was way better. It was good. Yeah.
I got two cups.
That was like a
Yeah.
tepid. Tepid, is that the word? It's not a word we say often anymore.
Why
Tepid.
didn't you say I had to blow on it a little bit
Oh, you know
because
what?
it
I
was a bit
missed
hot?
that. Okay.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah,
good
yeah,
job. Your
yeah, yeah,
acting
yeah.
abilities,
Yeah, thank you.
like 6 out of 10.
Way better than the first David. Yes.
Yeah. You two are completely different. For anybody who is listening to this and not watching, there is only one David on the
Yeah.
show, but
Yes, there's
David
only one
has
David.
an alternative David that sometimes just,
Yeah.
comes in
Oh,
there.
yeah. Actually, I do. I have many different Davids because there's different Davids for different types of art that have different last names that I've been using
So
over the
funny.
years. So
Yep.
now I know like what happened at that one time, and it ended up the names are the people that were important in my life,
Oh, I
right?
love that.
Yeah. So it's there's six last names, but I don't. But sometimes I'll use them all. Somebody,
Yep.
if they bug me, and I'll say, what's your name?" And I'll give them the full
All
last
six
name.
last names.
Yeah.
So are you comfortable with putting on the internet? What is your full name? David and your six last names. What is it?
So it's David Busby Mem Volbret Paya de Deighton. Yeah, I gotta say it in French. Sorry, because I'm French.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, yeah. So let's say all that. Blah 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 blah.
Love
But
it.
I'm using my wife's last name for the last 20 years now. So it's now
Wow.
Deighton. Yeah,
Deighton.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. It's not a very French name, but it's an English name. She's English, so I've been using
That's
her name,
so cool. It's
which is
interesting to
super funny.
me how
Yeah. Oh,
like a
sorry.
last name for the different times of
Yeah.
your life and the different art that you do. And
Mm,
what about it that I find interesting, fascinating actually, is that how often we as humans do this in our normal life without actually giving it a name for it, right? But when you're in a social situation with your friends having a beer,
mm,
I'm
mm.
Heather X, right? And then when I'm on my podcast, I'm Heather Z, right? And I
Oh.
try to keep them consistent. I'm trying to get closer and closer to who is this genuine version of myself. But I think between being a connector and an adapter, and I have a theater background, and I've lived abroad. So I lived in India for a year, and I tend to adapt to my situation. And I've noticed that the persona that I put on, it's masking. Like I sort of adapt to who I'm with and where I'm at and what is expected
Mm,
of me in the situation that I'm in. And once I became aware of that, I was like, whoa, time out. Like I want to find out who's the genuine me. If
mhm,
I'm not putting
mhm,
anything
mhm.
on, who is this Heather? Right? And I have actually used different last names. So I was
Oh,
born,
the truth is
the
told.
truth
Ah,
comes out, right? So I was born Heather May Bailey. And then I got into theater and film. I had an agent for a while. I did some commercials, I did some modeling, lots of community theater, stuff like that. And so I started to go by Heather May because it was just faster and quicker and sounds like an actor,
mhm.
right? And then I got married And
Mm.
during that time too, I really started to focus on my career as a landscape professional. So I dropped the May, my middle name, and just go by Heather Gerard, who is the landscape professional. So when people look me up, they'll actually find two versions of me. If people look me up as Heather May, they'll see my theater work. They'll see me in theater. They'll see me in a couple of
Oh, yeah, yeah,
smaller
there you go.
independent films. And if they look up Heather Gerard, they'll
I
see
like it.
me and my
Mhm.
business and the podcast and right and landscaping. So it's like these two different personas that I just kind of juggle depending on the situation. And the real Heather is somewhere in the middle.
But everybody here, the real Heather is here today.
I feel like it. Yeah. Heather, shut
Yeah.
up.
Yeah.
I put the other Heather in the corner.
Oh no, here we
Yeah.
go. There's
Yeah.
like two Davids,
Shh.
there's two Heathers now.
Yep. You're rubbing off on me, David, and we're just met. Um, so you've got lots of things to
Yeah.
talk about, and I do really find like what you were saying is uh, quite impactful, and I just love this idea of putting yourself in a situation that other people might what's the word? Not necessarily be moved by isn't the right word. It throws them off. I don't know. Are you like me? I
Yeah.
kind of like throwing people off.
I think it's important. I think it's important to come from the side, to be
I
on the periphery of things, right?
So many
That I
people are
think,
just
yeah.
like going through life on autopilot. I think this came up
Oh,
in a
that,
previous episode.
yeah.
And it's like because your social norms every
Mm,
day, day in, day out, you're just like a zombie, right? You get up, you
mm,
eat, you kiss the wife goodbye, you go to work, you buy the groceries, you make your dinner, blah 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 blah. And then something like one of your installations comes up and they pass by you on the way to work and it kind of
mm.
shifts that, you can't stay on the same track because the track is got something on it, right? People kind
Yes.
of need this wake up. Like, get off your phones. Let's be present in the moment. Let's take advantage of an opportunity to make a connection with another human being. Rant over. Sorry.
No, it's not a rant. It's so many good things, right? First, pain, right? The pain that you talked about, pain earlier. It is painful to talk to strangers, and it is painful to be triggered. But is it necessary? Right? The pain's going to be there.
Right.
But is it necessary? I think it's for me. It's very necessary at a time of greater social divide and division that we need to be able to communicate in a respectful manner and to engage people and have that opportunity. It's a political action that we could do at any time. Well,
Mm-hmm.
most of the time, several times during the week. We can only vote like every now and then, but we could do this political action at any time,
Right.
which is reaching out, bridging, showing people our humanity to others. Um, but the oh no, I forgot. I
My brain
forgot.
does that too.
Oh, all the time, all the time, all the time. But that one was
Maybe,
valid. The pain.
yeah, it is. Maybe we're related. Our brains have the same
Yeah,
thing.
well, then we both missing the same part because
Yep.
yeah,
Do you
that's
know
a
what?
problem.
It will come
Mm.
back. I believe it
Mm.
will. It'll come back to us,
You saw this Colombian air.
right? Well, I got to tell you, the London, Ontario air is pretty cold. Oh.
Okay, and it was pretty good. I was talking like Colombian gold or something like this.
Oh,
Oh,
gotcha. Gotcha. So, something I wanted to ask you about. So, you have a
mm,
YouTube channel. I'll get to
mm,
your Instagram in a second because I think that's really interesting too. But your YouTube channel is the Triptych Dialogue,
mm,
Triptych Dialogue.
yeah.
And can you talk a little bit about what the purpose of this channel is and what you're doing there? What are you putting out there?
It's this channel is very very simple. It's kind of a diary where I can put, for example, I take these books and I repurpose books and I rip out pages in them and I stamp. Like the books that the library throws away and they can find in the recycling bin. I'll take hundreds of these, and I'll repurpose them and I'll put in political messages in them, but these
Hmm.
three non-confrontational questions in them. And then at the beginning, there's a page that explains what to do with the book, right? Is to use the questions with people you disagree with and like bridge relationships and then pass it on, right? And I'll drop that book off on a on a bench or I'll go in a hotel and I'll slide it in between the other books, when they have a little lobby area, they
Yes.
got boom, I put it
Oh,
up.
My gosh. So you've got a Bible and then you've got some political questions to reflect
Yeah, the
on.
one in the more in the lobby and stuff.
Oh, in
Sometimes
the
I got a few
lobby.
books, and I'll put it in there, right? And so I'll take a video of that. No,
Yep.
not every time, and I'll put it on YouTube. You know, like right now, I'm doing a whole series of time capsules that I'm burying that have political messages in it. Like for people in 100 years, will they even be democracy? You know, so
Right.
I put them in there, and people might be able to discover that. And it goes into legacy, if you want the
Yeah.
aspect of legacy. I know you spoke about legacy.
It's so important leaving
Yeah,
something behind.
you know,
So there's this
okay.
one aspect of legacy where we want to leave behind something that matters. Like there's the stewardship, right? That what we
Yeah.
have now may or may not exist in the future,
Hmm.
but can we at least try to do the best we can with what we have now for future
Mm,
generations? Right? That's the one aspect of it. And then there's this other aspect where leaving something behind that other people can benefit from long after we're gone. So there's this environmental desire to look after what we have now to benefit so that others can enjoy it in the future. And then there's this other aspect of legacy where it's about leaving something, I don't like the word concrete, but I often think of like a book, right?
mm.
Where
You're gonna write a book.
it's in me. I know it is. I know it is. Do you have a book in you? Do you have a book in you? I'm going to start asking people
I'm,
this. Is there a
I'm,
book in
I'm
there?
told, there are people that tell me I gotta write a book, gotta write a book, gotta write a book. But if I can't fit up I just got the YouTube channel. I'd rather just produce art,
Yep.
and go with that flow, and it's wherever that flow goes. That's where I'm gonna go. So I'm not feeling the flow of writing a book right now,
Okay.
but
But maybe one day.
the outline's there.
And the content, right? So if you're taking
Definitely got
pictures and recordings, oh
def-
my
I got
gosh.
I got many books and content. Yes.
Yeah. And you take all that content, like all that video
Mhm.
content, and now you can like export it and get the transcript. And now you
Mm.
already have it written. Now you just have to edit it and format it.
Ooh, AI. Punch it
AI.
to it. There you
Talk about
go.
taboo subjects. You want to talk about
Yeah,
AI?
there we go. AI. One step up from social media. That's for, yeah. Where's disinformation and misinformation gonna go? It already is there
Yep.
with the use of AI. Uh,
You can't tell the
yeah,
difference, a lot of these things.
Heather,
So,
that's the reason why I'm doing this in person thing. You're talking about the social media stuff. So I did this Instagram thing six or some years ago, and the idea was, okay, I'm going to get a new account. I'm going to go on social media. I'm going to go on Instagram, and I'm going every day. I'm going to post a video, an abstract video about on the theme of disinformation and misinformation, and it's going to have the background of Plato's allegory of the cave, the ancient Greek philosopher, blah blah blah. Complicated as heck, but every day I was going to put something up. But the point is I was going to reach out to different groups every day, and what I found is that you're not supposed to do that. You're not, I got banned. It's a thing called shadow ban many times because
uh-oh.
I was acting like, oh, today I'm going to go talk to firemen, and now I'm going to talk to teachers, and now this alt-right group over here. I'm going to try to reach them. And that's like how a I don't know, apparently a bot or something works like this. You're not supposed to do that. So my page would be there, but I could no longer add something. And the first time it was like for 3 days, and then it was like for 5, and it was for like a week, then 2 weeks, then a month, and got half a dozen times, and they put me back to like, behave, David,
Yep.
behave, stay in your box, which is stay in artist box,
Right.
you know, and oh, this is never going to work right
Yeah.
for me. So that's why I had to go in person, right? And start talking to people in person. And it brought me to from a space of like of anger and outrage to really like a transformative space where now I'm able, after having been triggered so many times, uh,
Yeah.
uh, to be able to listen and find one thing I have in common with that person, which is going to be an emotion or a word. And I'm always looking for that word, and which incidentally, now I can use that word in another piece of artwork. Like,
Yeah.
um, after people have given me hundreds of words, and I took the words, and if you're supposed to be when you actively listen to someone, you're supposed to use all your senses, right?
Yep.
So, okay, visual, hearing, good. Okay, touching, that's a bit weird. But smell and taste, how do I taste? How do I taste and smell? To be conscious of it was one thing, but I thought, okay, let me take those words. I don't quite have an answer. I'll bring it to the public and ask them. So I had these hundreds of words like chaos, democracy, cohesion, whatever, and anarchy, and uh, and I'd ask people, well, what does democracy taste like?
Hmm.
Or what does cohesion smell like? And yeah, right there, nobody could, only the people that were watching the show could see. You looked off to the side. That moment right there is you're outside from the periphery into another space. And that's the space where things start to change, right?
Huh.
So bring the words, right? And the words, people go, oh, democracy, apple pie,
Do you know
sour
what I
grapes
thought
for
of?
chaos or whatever. Yeah,
So
what do you think?
I looked to the side because immediately, so I'm a very
Yeah.
visual personality. I can see things in my
Okay.
brain and I see
Okay.
images as fast as people talk. And so when you said
Oh,
democracy,
wait.
I actually thought about butter.
Butter. Ooh,
Yeah.
butter. What
Is
are the
that weird?
qualities of butter? Is it like,
That
is it,
it's like an emulsive,
oh
it's an
yeah, yeah.
emulsion, right? So it's like
Okay.
all of
Uh,
these things that have been um I don't want to say beaten together because that doesn't sound appropriate for democracy, but they're all mixed together to be smooth, right? It's like
mm,
democracy, it's like
mm.
it's all smooth sailing, and that butter also, you only put a little bit on everything. So democracy isn't the main meal, right? Democracy is
Okay,
just the
that's
butter on
cool.
the potatoes. Like, that's
Well, I
so
like to put
weird.
a lot of butter on the potatoes.
I put a shit
I
ton of
want,
butter on
I want,
everything.
I want a lot of democracy, obviously.
Yeah, me too. See, look, we already have something in common. We have some common ground. I had a feeling. It's out. We know now. Oh,
Well,
that's so
when
funny.
it's with somebody that you don't agree with, though, right? Okay, so
Yeah,
I don't know.
it's
For
tough.
me, it's like somebody's coming over. We're at the we're at the Grand Canyon, and they're telling me, "Oh, look, this Grand Canyon was made 5,000 years ago. It's divine intervention, all this stuff." And I'm like, okay, I'm listening in, and there's all this stuff, and I gotta convert to this, and so I want to be present, right? But that's where there's a few words that I'll think about, oh, how they smell or how they taste,
Yeah.
right? So that immediately takes me to another place
Hmm.
where I can just go, butter for democracy if you want, or shit pie for something else, and like I don't want to go
Shit
there,
pie.
but I'm not gonna go that place, and
Right.
immediately I can get back into where I'm supposed to be.
Hmm.
And that's been a really good tool for me in with just everyone now, right?
I
Yeah.
love
It's
that.
not just by letting it go and not caring. It's about uh, being there and reinterpreting how I'm listening in, because there's the attachments that we make to certain words. It can be very emotional, and so I want to be able to disconnect that for a bit to take it into some other less used senses, and
Right.
then there I can be more present. And why
Hmm.
would I want to be present for somebody I totally disagree with? In the end, I want to show that, okay, you know what? I was there for you. Hopefully you'll be there for somebody else in the future. Try these questions out with somebody you disagree with. Or if I'm the libtard that you don't like, I'll let them know, right? So that they have that story, right? They'll have a story like, oh, you know what? They're not all bad. I met one in the
Yeah.
Grand Canyon or at Yellowstone or whatever at some park.
I
And,
remember
and
this
they'll,
guy.
yeah, yeah, yeah. You'll never guess what happened. You
Yeah.
know, or
Hmm.
if I have a weird art installation, they'll be like, they'll be able to talk about this, and we'll talk about art on top of it. I mean, it's like fantastic. I got the whole cake that I
Yeah.
want, right?
It's so funny when
Or nothing will happen.
right, talking
Yeah.
about uh, one of the aspects of landscape design I get really obsessed with, and I get obsessed
Mm.
about a lot. So I'm gonna try not to rabbit hole too hard here. But there's this concept, and there's research to back it up, that memories are made when three senses or more are activated. So if you're in a situation where there's only sound, you're not going to remember it. Like it's
Mm.
just a sound. But if that sound is accompanied by, the feel of something, and the
Everybody
sight
touch
of
something right
something.
now. Everybody touch something.
Quick, touch
Yeah, quick.
something.
Grab your
What are you
glass. Grab your
touching?
beer. Grab your beer.
I have my beer
Okay.
and I have my hat, and you
And
have
then
your
what else?
cup of Columbia Air.
And then maybe smell it.
Do you know
You're
what,
gonna
David?
remember
I
this
don't think I'm
moment.
going to be able to forget our conversation. I am thoroughly enjoying this, and I hope our listeners are too. But already I'm obsessed with this episode. So that's the rabbit hole. But we talk about that when we're designing
So three
spaces.
senses. Three senses.
Three senses,
Uh,
three or
three
more,
senses.
right? So
Yes.
if we're designing, in my experience, it's designing spaces or interactive spaces. How do we get people to not just walk by a garden? Anybody
Mm.
can walk by a garden or drive by a garden and see it. But is there a smell that comes up, right? Can you sense movement? Does that movement in the grass invoke some sort of feeling? Or if you're walking through it, maybe the texture of the walkway changes, right? And you can
Mm.
sense that elevation or the
I'm
temperature
liking this.
drops,
Mhm.
right? When you walk in, you can just imagine,
Yeah.
especially being in Colombia, you can imagine being out in the beaten hot sun,
Yeah. And then
and
you get
then you
into
go into a
trees.
cave or the
Oh yeah.
trees, and suddenly the
Mm.
temperature drops, and that
Mm.
feeling is it's memorable, right? So that's something I find really fascinating, just with your
I like how you
with
guys
what you're
create
doing.
that. Like,
We try to.
yeah, I take what's already there, like in the national park. Like
Yep.
sometimes we'll go on top of a mountain, right?
Yep.
So, this is not meeting everyone at random. Now there are people hiking up to the top of a popular hike. I used to hate to go on popular hikes with tons of people. Now I search them out and I'll
Love
go on
that.
those hikes and I'll
Yeah.
meet tons of people and get to see this really pretty lake or whatever that I totally would have missed because it was just there's 5,000 people there, or maybe not, like 500 people. It could be
Yeah.
500 people there. Never put my feet there, but now I do, and I get to appreciate it. Ask some people some questions, and have some interactions, and they're totally going to remember that,
Oh yeah.
right? It's out of context because you're going to have, like you said, the other senses that might be at work, and also this power of the story itself of where it happened.
It's
Because once
so
that shit
powerful.
never happens, right?
And
You
their
got to do it.
expectation,
Yeah.
right? So they
Yeah.
set out thinking, oh, I'm going to go to the Grand Canyon. I'm going to do a little hike, take some pictures, go home. Well, when I
Yeah.
went up there, there was some guy. There was like this guy up there doing this thing. Like that's a story, right? People are
All
going to
right.
talk about it.
Mm-hmm.
It makes me think of the book, The Purple Cow. Have you read
Tell me
this?
about the purple cow. No. Tell
Okay.
me about the purple cow.
So hold on. I got to look up to
Better? The purple cow.
my books here.
Are your bookshelves up there?
Um, yep, I have a crap ton of books because I'm a little bit addicted.
I tear them up. Don't have me over because I'm just gonna rip them up and stamp questions.
Okay, so this is I need to focus because I
I
have
won't.
so
I
many
won't.
things
I
that I
won't
want to
do the.
say.
I won't do
So
the
I'm going to
purple
say, hold on, Purple Cow.
cow.
But you were talking about, didn't want to interrupt you
Ripping
earlier
up
because,
books.
yeah. So
Oh.
I identify as
Well,
an
I'm not gonna
artist
rip up the purple
as
cow. I'm
well.
not gonna rip up the
Yeah,
purple
don't
cow
rip up that one. It's a good book. Yeah.
unless I find it in the trash. But I'll read it
Right.
first. Okay.
Yes. I love that.
Yes. Okay.
So,
So, as an artist,
I'm a
you.
landscape designer. My company is actually
Mhm.
called My Landscape Artist because I'm very much connected to nature and art, right? And it's not just a space, there's emotions here. But something that I do in my own personal practice as an artist, so I do a lot of abstract work, painting, collage, lots of texture, because I want my pieces to be something that people can feel. If you are
Mm.
blind or sight challenged, I want you to be able to get your hands in there, right? And feel what this
Mm.
feels like. And something that I do a lot of is repurpose books. So whether it's making a handmade journal, so I will take an old novel that has a beautiful cover and I will take the
Mm.
whole innards out and make a journal from scratch, like these custom journals. Or I will do like decoupage or Mod Podge, right? With its layered
Mm.
text.
Yeah.
So talk about taboo. Here, I'm going to put something out here on the internet that I haven't said openly.
Uh,
Okay, are you ready?
mm,
I might lose
okay.
some
Okay.
follow. So talk about taboo. Some of the best decoupage pages for art comes from Bibles.
Mm.
I'm
Because
just saying, because the pages are so thin, right? It's
no.
almost like a rice
Thin. I
paper.
was gonna think. That's what I was gonna. Yeah. Right. 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 Right.
So I've
Yes.
um
I
I've
see what you
actually
mean.
been exploring some art where it's words, like word art, and I'm playing with the existing words on the page without the meaning. So the Bible is very sensitive to a lot of people, right? So I'm
Mhm.
trying to take the meaning off the page and I'm focusing on what the words look like. So if there's a page and the word the is repeated 70 times, I will highlight the word the and then create a piece of art around it. I'm completely
Mm.
taking the meaning out of it. It doesn't matter what the paragraph was or what the passage or the paragraph number was. It's about the word art. And it's a thing about material. So it's just going down to the basic of what is this material and what can I create with it without there being a meaning behind it. And that's the meaning of the art in itself, right? I'm not
Well,
sending a
people don't
message,
leave. She's using it respectfully, everyone.
right? I'm just creating
Yeah,
art,
yeah,
but
yeah,
also the
yeah.
Bible is what do you call it? Copyright. I don't know. I don't know the words for it. But if I were to create a piece of
Does
art,
Jesus have a copyright?
I don't think so. I mean, he's
No, I don't
never
think so. We'll have to
complained.
ask. When he comes back, we'll ask. We'll say,
Yeah.
hey,
Yeah.
yeah, okay. All right.
I have a post-it
Good.
note here. When Jesus comes, because he's coming, right? I guess.
Yeah. He's
Uh,
already there for some, but we'll ask. We'll ask if he's got a copyright on it. But I don't think I don't think he cares.
I
It's
think he
open
would
for
be like,
all. He'd
or
be like,
he or
God,
they.
use it, use
It's like
this,
that's a cool way to
spread
use a
it.
Bible. Like,
Yes.
huh. So
Yeah.
anyway, there's my
Why'd you
taboo
print so
thing.
many of them?
Yeah. I'm gonna lose a whole bunch of people now, but there you have it. Yep.
You're
Sometimes I
welcome.
use Bible pages in my art because the material is really conducive to collage.
I get it. I totally get it. I don't think there's nothing wrong in what you're doing. You do it respectfully, and
Absolutely.
you're pointing out certain other words in there. You're all good.
And they're
Um,
neglected books. So I always get them usually
now you're going to lose people now because you just said it was a neglected book.
that is a whole, yeah, I did. Yeah. What I meant was, I find versions
Yeah.
of the Bible that are in poor condition
Ah, there we go.
being sold at like garage sales or
Oh,
bookstores, used
antique,
bookstores, things like that. And
antique
usually,
Bibles.
they're written in. And I find that so fascinating because I kind of sit with those notes for a while. Like usually
Mm.
it says, to mom on your
Ah,
birthday,
yes,
19, and
yes.
there's a date on it, and I'll save that page. Like there's
Mm.
something like this was a gift to somebody. Somebody cherished this book for a long time, and now maybe that person is no longer with us. Like there's this whole romantic side of it where I'm not just, going to town on
No, I
ripping up
get it. No, no,
Bibles.
no, no, I
That's
get
not
it.
my jam.
No, 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 I get it. I get it.
But
No,
it's
it's also
really,
it's the artifact, it's the piece as well,
yeah,
and the life that it had, and what people how people cherished it and everything.
yeah.
Yes,
There you go.
I
There's
had
my
one
some
of
of
my
my art.
torn up books wasn't a Bible. I don't even know which one because I put them all in a box and I pull them out and it's like, let's see what I got.
That's
Right?
the one.
Uh, whoever gets it next, I'll hand them out as well
Hmm.
to people after and at art installations and stuff. So that's why I pull them out of a box and boom, there it is. The the books, yeah. While I rip them up, there's people that that I meet later on. Like I was at a volunteer project up in Utah, and we're all around the campfire, and my daughter's there, my wife's there. And say, you know what, I got something for you guys, and I bring out these books, right? And one of the people's like, "Wow, wait, hold on! I got one of those books. It's on my it's on my coffee table," and talked all about it. So that they'd heard about it, seen it, had been using it in a discussion group.
And he
And I
had just
felt so
discovered
like,
it somewhere? Like he
what
just had
what
picked it up on a bench somewhere and
yeah,
now
yeah,
he actually got to meet
yeah,
you?
and there it was, like, it all kinda connected. It
Oh
wasn't
my
even
gosh,
in
that's
town that
awesome.
I'd been to, which is so cool. Like, it made its way somehow, but the coolest thing for me is that my daughter, she was, like, 13 at the time, and she got to be there and say, "Oh, dad's not just doing crazy stuff." This actually has an
Well,
impact of some sort.
you are doing crazy stuff, but it's crazy stuff that matters. Oh, I lost your audio. Where'd your mic go?
Right here.
Oh, there you are. Sorry. Lost you
Yeah,
for a second.
Columbia, in and out.
Love
In
it.
and out. I'm a little bit remote, but it's Starlink. Thank you, Musk, and all your other crazies.
Oh. And yep, you're gone again.
Oh, really?
Yep. I wonder if it's something to do with your hands. Maybe when your hands are in front of you, then I can't hear you. We're just getting so excited, right?
I
That
don't.
we're
Okay.
talking
I'm
about
not
this and
doing
then we
my
can't hear
hands.
you.
Is there something that hands? Is this? Can you hear me now? Okay. I'm not using my hands. My hands are going to be on the table now,
Yep. You're
and
like
I'm
me. You
not
got
going
to
to
fold
move.
your hands,
Yeah, hold my
put them in
hands.
your lap,
Okay. Don't fidget.
stop
Okay.
touching things,
Yeah. Okay. But I'm not. How are you going to remember things if I don't use all my senses?
right?
Ah. Right. Oh,
Bam.
bam. But I'm touching my
Bam.
hands. Okay.
There you go.
All right. All right.
So talking about books on your
Yes.
the
Ripping books,
questionnaire,
please.
I
Okay.
love asking people what they're reading or books that have moved them because I am a
Oh.
little bit of a book collector, not hoarder, collector.
Hmm. Hmm.
And you mentioned the book What is Fascism by Robert Paxton.
Oh.
And I'm not familiar about this
Yeah.
book. So can you give us kind of like a Cole's Notes? How did this
Oh,
impact
yeah.
you? What's it about?
Well, let's see. Okay, so Robert Paxton is an American historian, and he wrote a really influential book about the French, the rise of French fascism during the Second World War. That really kind of tore the narrative apart in France in the 80s. And and I grew up in France, and my stepfather was a historian as well. And for years, I wanted to read this book, and there was one that seemed very appropriate today. It was one of his later books, and it was like, what is fascism, and creates a definition of fascism. And, and the reason I'm doing this whole project is because I fear the rise of fascism that I see growing in the well, that's quite there in the United States right
Mm-hmm.
now. That I see rising in France, just a few votes away with the National Front, the AFD in Germany, Vox in Spain. These movements, they're all being, in a sense, coordinated. Steve Bannon had a big part to play in that. And they're having conferences. They all anyway. It's here, and I see it growing decade after decade. And having a kid, it worries the shit out of me.
Yeah.
So, and there's very little I found that one can do until you start acting in small, meaningful ways.
Hmm.
And And that's where the conversations with strangers, to me, for me, works as my greatest impact beyond the vote. Because I'm not the type of guy that likes to join committees and stuff like that. I like to do things on my own term. And this works really, really well for me because I can, there's the opportunity arises when you don't expect it, or with family members that you no longer speak to. Why not it be that taboo subject, right?
Hmm.
What wants to hold us back from those things, to have honest dialogue and conversations, to be true to ourselves and to others. And so, hence why I wrote down fascism, because I was just finishing it at the time, and it was just a crazy great book. Um,
Okay.
and its definition is very good. Having read several books on the subject, that that was my number one when it comes to understanding authoritarian regimes and fascism. So
Okay.
right
Well,
now I'm reading La Resistencia in Spanish with a dictionary because it's freaking hard.
so how many languages do you speak then?
I well, I learned Spanish in school.
Okay.
Yeah, and that's
So
it. I
French
tried.
is first language, but
Yeah,
grew
and
up
then
like bilingual,
English.
French, English, and then
Then I learned
Spanish.
English and then Spanish afterwards. So it's Spanish with a French accent. But I tried
I like
German,
that.
I tried Japanese, I tried Hindi, I tried all these things. Yeah.
आपको हिंदी बोलते हैं?
No, see, exactly. I can't. You can.
थोड़े हिंदी
No.
बोलती हूँ.
Oh, no, no, no. Do a
Yeah,
dance for me, please. I
I
was like,
can.
this is so good.
That's so
Uh,
funny. It's not too often I get to hear somebody else on the show say or mention Hindi. So I can talk about
no,
food in Hindi,
but I can say the
but
word Hindi. You can actually speak Hindi.
I can
I
speak a little bit of
tried,
Hindi. Yeah.
and it went nowhere.
Okay. But you've
I'm
got
trying to
English, French, and
downplay my
Spanish
yes,
down, which
and I won't
is
move my hands anymore.
okay.
It's
It's okay.
go.
Nobody. What
Can
if
I
we
get it
both
to
do it?
stop?
Yeah. We'll
I'm
just
moving my
like
hand. It
It's
doesn't
okay.
stop it.
When people are listening to this episode in their car, they're going to be very confused.
Yeah, please don't look at the
Go
video.
home and watch the video. It'll explain it.
Don't look at the video. Don't, whatever you do, don't look at the video.
See no evil,
Yeah,
hear no
yeah,
evil.
yeah, that's all good.
Um, so lastly, before I let you go, it's been an absolute pleasure talking to you, so I don't want to cut you off or make this too short. But I thought I might regret asking, and there's no pressure, but earlier you mentioned that your installation and what you're doing going out there is that you have 3 questions that you ask people.
All right,
I'm wondering if one, either you'd be comfortable sharing those 3 questions on the internet with our listeners,
Oh,
and
yeah.
two, if you'd like to maybe open that dialogue with me and ask me those questions and put me on the spot, and I may regret this.
This is good. Let me have
I have
David
no
number
idea what
3
these are.
come over. Here comes David number 3.
Oh,
Is it
hi,
with
David number
somebody
3.
else? Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
he's
this
so
David number 3.
handsome.
Hi.
Wow.
Oh yeah, yeah, much younger and everything. Yeah.
I love that color shirt, David. It looks really good on you.
Thank you, thank you, appreciate it. The other David said I should share the 3 questions with you,
I would
and
appreciate
so
that.
these, and I'm glad you're willing to answer these questions. The first one is, uh, how would you describe the political system of the United States of America?
That is a good question. I would say disorganized, except I think it's probably more organized than we realize. It also seems very chaotic. There's a lot of uncertainty around it. And I don't have a lot of trust in the media because depending on where you are in the world, what the media chooses to show and share is different. So what I see in Ontario with regards to the political landscape in the US is different than what someone will see on the news if they live in New York or if they live in China. So I'm very uneasy about what I see in the news because I don't know. I don't know what to believe. I don't know what's real. I don't know what's true. I don't know if that's a clear enough answer.
Well, the second question is, how would you describe your feelings or reactions to the current state of US politics?
Mm. You hit a nerve there, David.
Mm,
Hmm.
I'm sorry. Yeah.
I don't know if I've cried on the show before.
Mm,
That's fun. Um, hmm. How do I feel? My initial response is that I feel helpless because I'm in Canada and I'm also aware that I'm only one individual. So I feel like nothing I can do could possibly help or make a difference. So there's two words that I really hate when they come to feelings is hopelessness and helplessness, right? And those are 2 words that I think come to mind when I think about the US political landscape because it's not going to be me that changes it. It's not going to be me that brings it to an end. And sometimes I go down a bit of a spot where I think any small actions that I can do or that I do, does it matter? Right? And I know it does. And that's the thing. I know that, and this is something I say all the time in landscaping, we cannot, as individuals, change the world. We can't. But what we can do is we can change the world of one person's backyard. That is their world. So if we can't change the whole country, if we can't change the political landscape, I know we have the power to smile at someone across the street or help them with groceries when they drop, right? So I try, whenever I feel helpless and hopeless, I try to focus on the things I can do. But I do have those thoughts and feelings that no matter what I do, it won't be enough.
The third question, all right, is a game, all right, where you finish the sentence.
Okay, I'm
Just
ready.
finish the sentence. Politics in the United States, blank.
Is a mess, needs to change, isn't good enough, is not serving the people. They're people. And it's certainly not serving or helping the planet, people and the environment, regardless of these man-made boundaries that we make.
And in the end, I ask people, just to give me like one word. It's the hardest one for some. One word that kind of brings it all together. The word that you want to put out there.
I'm going to have a sip of beer.
Yeah.
Just a word? A word to
Just
describe
word.
something, or just a word? Whatever word.
Word to describe that all of your answers in one word.
Ooh.
It's evolving. So whatever you say, it's not definite,
it's not permanent, right?
It's not
fine.
permanent.
So,
Don't worry. Yeah.
and I actually appreciate you saying
I
that.
usually don't say that, but I'm saying that to you. Right?
No, and I appreciate
because you're
that
going to put a lot in there.
and we do that as artists too, right? We think that if we say something, it's permanent, but things change. Like it's allowed to change. But actually, the word that has come up for me, and probably because we were talking about art earlier, was collage. Collage was the word that came up.
I like that. With all these different pieces, we can build something amazing and pretty. Right on. So those are the three questions. I think the fact you wouldn't be the first to cry. It actually happens quite a bit when those are. A lot of people don't have the opportunity to answer those questions. So by providing a space for people to just get it out, we open a room for future conversations to take place. And this is so charged right now, right?
Yeah.
Things just seem so awful. But one thing, and you know this, is like you said, the small actions. And they're political actions that we can do at any time. Many times you're doing that as well by creating the space as well. That's a political act. And for your listeners out there, all in landscaping, those are political acts. You're creating environments. You explained it so well. Using the questions with strangers is a way also as a political action that we can all take, and that is empowering. It should be empowering. But it's because it's painful. It's painful.
Yeah.
To hear what some people have to say. It takes a lot, and it's just not a free and easy action. But it's something that we can all do that has a lot of impact.
David, we are out of time. It has been an amazing show, an amazing episode. I thank you so much for sharing this space with me today and for giving me the opportunity to answer your questions, because I don't know if I would ever run into you in a big city in the US. I have mentioned on the show I'm not comfortable crossing the Canadian-US border at the moment. So you won't find me in there. But if ever you want to come to London, Ontario, I would love to do this with you. Like, let's do this here.
I like that.
We've got a guest room.
Yes.
You know what?
Oh.
I mean, the London, Ontario air isn't as good as a cup of Columbia air that you were drinking earlier, or is that the other David? I'm all confused now.
David number 1, I think.
Oh, yeah.
David 3 would never do that.
You know what? Actually, I'm not sure about David number 1. He can stay, but David number 3, you are more than welcome to join me in London. So, David, it's been an absolute pleasure. I really look forward to talking with you again and having you on the show either next year or 2 years from now. Who knows? The world is our oyster, and I really look forward to following your journey and seeing what you do with all this. And you've inspired me. I'm going to take these questions and I'm gonna have some of those difficult conversations. So I think
please do. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Keep spreading that joy and that light. Okay. Ciao for now.
Bye, everyone.
That brings us to the end of this week's episode of Hops and Hedges, hosted by me, Heather Gerard of My Landscape Artist. Now, before you go, here's a quick word from our sponsor, ext.tech. In today's fast-paced world, landscaping businesses need modern tools to keep up with constant change, and that's where EXT comes in. EXT is transforming how landscaping, snow removal, and construction companies manage their operations. Using streamlined client management, real-time financial insights, and a modern mobile app your team will actually enjoy using. And with flat rate pricing, there are no surprises, just clarity and control. If you're ready to revolutionize and grow your landscaping business, visit ext.tech to learn more. For additional savings, use the code HOPS10 at checkout, or just tell them that Heather sent you.